Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hey there nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with an episode of the Golden Age, our series of Warhammer Fantasy Battle Reports, and this is Battle Report number 150, if you can believe it or not. This is a 3,000 point battle that is fought between Bretonnians as well as Dogs of War. My littlest sister, the kiddo, will be playing the Blackstone Crusade, her 3,000 point Bretonnian army, and I'll be playing the Miragliano Mercenaries, my 3,000 point Dogs of War army. Now, for those of you who are turning in for the very first time, if you're wondering what's occurring, I've actually completed a 3,000 point Dogs of War army for my studio. And every single time we complete a brand new army in this channel, we actually take this army through its paces by fighting every single army in our studio's collection. Now, up to this point, I've fought 8 battles with my Dogs of War army. I've won 6 of those battles and lost 2 of them. And hopefully I can make this into victory number 7. So with that being said, we're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we'll show you videos of both armies, as well as our army rosters. If you want to see exactly what we're bringing for this battle report, go and pause and take a look at your leisure, or check down the description box below for the army lists. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll.
Crom, I've never prayed you before. I have no tongue for it. No one, not even you, will remember if we were good men or bad, why we fought, or why we died. No. All that matters is that 2 stood against many. That's what's important. Valor pleases you, Crom. So grant me one request. Grant me revenge. And if you do not listen, then the hell with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
So the scenario rules for this one is Battle Line is the most typical of Warhammer that we play on this channel, with standard deployment as well as standard victory conditions. So now that we're done talking about the scenario rules, let's go ahead and talk about deployments real quick. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about the Blackstone Crusade. So starting on the left-hand side, on the far left, you have the Regrowth Hussars. The Regrowth Hussars are a unit of 5 yeomen with spears, crossbows, light armor shields. They also have Peasant's Vow, and they're also mounted on war horses. And right in front of them on the right-hand side, that is also the Chasseurs l'Arbre, a unit of 5 yeomen who are equipped exactly the same. Now right beneath them, of course, on the left-hand side, that unit is called the Hedge Knights. You have 9 questing knights with full command. They have great weapons, heavy armor shields, questing vows, and Barded Warhorses, and they have the banner swiftness, giving them +1 to their movement. And right next on the right hand side are the Dark Templars, a unit of 9 questing knights with full command. They have great weapons, heavy armor shields, questing vows, Barded Warhorses, as well as the banner of eternal flames. Moving on to the center deployment for the Blackstone Crusade, on the left-hand side, it is called the Pride of Lyonesse, a unit of 10 Knights of the Realm with full command. They have lances, heavy armor shields, Knight's Vow, as well as Barded Warhorses, and they have the standard discipline. And leading that unit is a couple of characters. First of all, we have Jeanne de Rais, the Marshal of Lyonesse. She is a Paladin who's also the army's battle standard bearer. She's got heavy armor shield and lance. She has the Knight's Vow, mounted on her Barded Warhorse. She also has the Virtue of Duty as well as the War Banner, giving this unit +2 combat resolution. Also, that unit is Lair the Beast. He's a Templar Crusader with heavy armor and shield. He's got the Knight's Vow as well as mounted on a Barded Warhorse, and he's also got an Ogre Blade, and also in that unit too is Warren the Hermit of Shalom, which is a Monk of the Lady with Barded Warhorse, level 2 Lord of the Lady with Steed of the Lady, as well as Mist of Shalom, as well as the Dispel Scroll and the Terrifying Mask of E, giving this unit terrifying rules. Right next to them is the Blackstone Legion. The Blackstone Legion is a unit of 10 Grail Knights with full command. They have lances, heavy armor shields, Grail Vows, as well as Barded Warhorses. They also have the Banner Defense, giving them 4 ward save against shooting attacks. And leading that unit is the General Remi Duchess of Lyonesse. She is a Bretonnian Lord who's also the Army's General. She's mounted with heavy armor, shield, Barded Warhorse, as well as the Grail Vow. She's got the Sword of Strife, giving her +2 attacks, and Virtue of Heroism, giving her heroic killing blow. At the same time, we also have Quellcrist the Falconer, which is the Prophetess of the Lady, who's got a Barded Warhorse, level 4 Wizard, the Lord of Life. They have Flesh to Stone, Throne of Vines, Regrowth, and Dwellers Below, and the Staff of Sorcery. And also in this unit as well is, oh, that's right, that is all the characters that make up that unit. I do apologize. And then on the right hand side, we have the Silver Squires, Knights, Air with full command. They have Lances, Heavy Armor, Shields, Knight's Vow, Barded Warhorses, as well as the Errantry Banner. And finally, make up the far right hand side. Up in the front, that unit is called the Darney Rangers, 5 yeomen with spears, crossbows, light armor, shields, Peasant's Vow, and war horses. Right behind them is the Ravizan Guard, which is a unit of 24 men-at-arms with standard bearer musician. They have halberds, light armor, as well as the Peasant's Vow. And right next to the right hand side is the Bowmen Barrettes, with 20 peasant bowmen with longbows, defensive stakes, braziers, as well as the Peasant's Vow. And that makes a deployment for my little sister, the Kiddo. So going across the table, let's talk about the Miragliano Mercenaries, which is my 3,000 point Dogs of War army. So Vanguard up 4, that unit is called the Saints of Sartosa. It is a unit of 8 mercenary man-eaters with Bellower as well as standard bearer. The entire unit is also equipped with heavy armor. The 4 ogres in the front have additional hand weapons, while the 4 ogres in the back have great weapons. And also the right-hand side Vanguard forward order, that is the Thugs to Borrow. Those are the guys in the orange coats. Those are 5 Stadiotes. They have light crossbows, and they're also mounted on war horses. Now on the back rank of there on the left hand side, that unit is called La Stasi, which is my mercenary revolt. And right next to the right hand side, that is the Nightmare Legion, Mordini's Doom Legion, which is one of the regiments of renown. Its unit consists of 28 Doom Legionaries, which are skeleton wearing, armed with halberd, shields, as well as heavy armor. They also have standard bearing musician. Leading that unit is Renzo Avanti, who is the unit champion. He's got additional hand weapons, heavy armor, and he's also undead. And then leading this is the special character Ennio Mordini. He's got heavy armor as well as a shield, and he's also got Scab Scrap, the magical weapon. And that makes up my left-hand deployment for this one. In the center of my army, on the left-hand side, it's called the Varenzo Gunners. The Varenzo Gunners are a unit of 20 handgunners, musicians, standard bearer. They have handguns as well as devices, and they have the Banner of Eternal Flame, using the best that many Bai can rule to give them that flaming attacks. And leading that unit as well as Gretchen von Königsmark. She's a hireling wizard, level 1 with the Lore of Light. She's also got a Dispel Scroll as well. And right next to the right-hand side, it's called the Golden Company. You have 38 Paymaster's Bodyguard with full command. They have heavy armor as well as halberds, and the standard discipline, giving them +1 to leadership. And leading that unit is my general, Condottieri Patricio Erturcio, my merchant prince, who's also the general of my army. He's got Barded Warhorse as well as a pistol, as well as a shield. He's got the Ogre Blade for +2 strength, Armor of Destiny for heavy armor, as well as a 4 ward save, and Guido's Lucky Coin, so that way he can roll 1 dice to hit, to wound, or when taking armor and ward saves. And he's also got the forward march stratagem, which I decided not to use because moving up closer to Bretonnians is always a bad idea. Also, that unit is Brunhilde von Königsmark, my hiring wizard lord. She's level 4 wizard with the Lore of Light. She's got the Staff of Fickle Fortune, and she's also using the Lore of Light for this one. And then lastly, I got Sheikh Shabazz in that unit, which is my Paymaster. He's got heavy armor as well as a great weapon. He's also got a Paymaster's cart with bodyguards, and he's also packing Justintine's pay chest. And finally, making up my right-hand flank are the Lucchini Rifles on the left-hand side. Lucchini Rifles are a unit of 20 handgunners with the standard bearer musician. They have devices and handguns. And leading that unit is Hildegard von Königsmark, my other level 1 wizard from the Lore of Life. And then right next to the right-hand side, that unit is called the Perazzo's Lost Legion, is a regiment renowned. That unit consists of 12 crossbowmen and 18 pikemen. It's led by Perazzo, the special character, who's got crossbow, heavy armor, as well as the special character for the regiment renown. And that pretty much makes up my deployment for this one. So deployment over with, we go directly to battle plans. Alright, so let's go and talk about battle plans real quick. So as you can see, I am deployed on the far side of the table. I have my entire army located over there on the far side. And once again, on this battle, I'm going to play defensively. And the reason why is because I am fighting against Bretonnians. Bretonnians have a very heavy cavalry list in this battle report. So keeping my distance and delaying their impact hitting me as long as possible is going to be a key strategy for me to win. Hopefully what I can do is actually whittle down their knight units real quick with some heavy firepower from both of my war machines. So hopefully the Revolt, my Stasi, as well as my Cannon La Agonia, in combination with my handgunners, will be able to whittle down some of these knight units as they move across the battlefield, so that way if they do close combat with me, I can destroy them. Now I do have some pikes over here on the right-hand flank, so that way I can actually deal with some cavalry. Hopefully that can, kind of protect my right-hand side. What I'm really worried about, though, is my city is being smashed by these huge lance formations of knights. That's what I'm really worried about as well. At the same time, I also got to worry about this two huge columns of questing knights. Hopefully, my man-eaters can cause some problems and destroy those guys, but my opponent has also sent up some of their yeomen directly upwards in order to interfere with me on that as well. So like I said before, my plan is to whittle down the enemy as much as I can with firepower from my guns, as well as my Lore of Light magic, and then hopefully I can just finish them off when they countercharge. So with the battle plans over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and both the kiddo and I roll for initiative to see which of us will be going first. So we are back now at the top of turn number 1, and this is after the move phase, and I managed to win the initiative on this one, so I'll be going first in this battle report. And as you can see, for the most part, most of my forces stay exactly where they're located at, which makes a lot of sense because a lot of the shooting elements in my army are basically move or shoot, so my handgunners and crossbowmen stay exactly where they're located at. However, at the beginning of the turn, though, I did declare a charge with the Saints of Sartosa directly against the Rusum Hunters, the Hussars, Realm Hussars. So I declared a charge against them, but they managed to escape and they actually fled back 8 inches. So instead of actually dedicating my charge to them, I redirected my charge directly over here to the Dawn Templars. So because I was able to make that charge no problem, rolling at 10 inches in order to get that in, so I will get D3 impact hits on that one, so that is all kinds of awesome. And then afterwards, of course, I then did a quick wheel form real quick with my Stadiotes from the Thugs of Debar in order to face off around against the back of these 5 yeomen over here with the Chasseurs of La Arve. And then over there, of course, I just marched up my Mordini's Nightmare Legion up their maximum allowance, so that way they can get a good blocking position between these ruins to try to stop these knights as they come through. So with the move phase over with, we go directly to the magic phase. So we are back with the magic phase. Unfortunately, the magic phase is not that great. The first thing I did is I casted the boosted version of Net of Amnioc. Banishment, directly onto the Blackstone Legion. Unfortunately, I was only able to kill 2 of those guys. Now, the kiddo was unable to stop me from casting that spell because I did cast it Irresistible with a miscast with 2 6s involved, and I managed to blow up 14 members of the Golden Company. So that part was absolutely horrific. So I lost 14 Paymaster's Bodyguard just to kill 2 Grail Knights, so that part was fantastic. So with the magic phase over with, we go directly to the shooting phase. So now that the magic phase was over, it was absolutely horrible. My shooting phase was not that much better. I have my work cut out for me on this one. With such high armor saves and ward saves being rolled out of the box, my little sister the kiddo, it's been extremely frustrating. So first of all, I opened fire with Agonia, my cannon, and it actually bounces directly towards the Blackstone Legion. But unfortunately for me, though, I get stopped by a ward save, so the cannonball doesn't go anywhere. It just stops dead in its tracks. Now from there, of course, I opened fire real quick with my Vrezo Gunners. My Vrezo Gunners managed to plink off 2 members of the Silver Squires between the combined fire of both my Vrezo Gunners as well as my Lucchini rifles. So that part was absolutely humiliating. And then my Revolt managed to kill 1 member of the Dawn Guard. So that part was absolutely horrific as well. Armor saves galore, saving that one. And then finally, I was able to destroy the yeoman. I forgot the name of the unit already, so I do apologize. I do manage to destroy the unit of yellow-coated yeomen over here on this side using Barrazzo's Lost Legion, so that part was kind of nice. But other than that, though, shooting was very much lackluster. So with the shooting phase over with, the Darney Rangers, that's what they're called, the Darney Rangers. So with the shooting phase over with, we go directly to the combat phase between my Pirates, my Saints of Sartosa, as well as these questing knights. Now with the combat phase, luckily for me, my Saints of Sartosa had no problem whatsoever destroying, just absolutely wrecking right through the hedge knights. That part was absolutely fantastic. I think I killed like 3 guys with impact hits alone, and the close combat attacks with my weapons pretty much just kind of destroyed the rest of them as well. I got really lucky on this one. Unfortunately for my little sister the kiddo, though, she kind of flubbed her armor rolls in this time around, and her ward saves are not as good, so maybe engaging in close combat is the way to go in this battle report instead of using shooting. So because I won the combat, I do restrain to run through. So because I do pass my leadership test, so I have my guys reform to face along the left-hand flank of the Dawn Templars. So with the combat phase over with, we go directly to the bottom of number 1 for my little sister, the kiddo. So we are back now, the bottom of turn number 1 for my little sister, the kiddo, and as you can see, this is after the move phase, and the kiddo moves across the battlefield as quickly as she possibly can. So let's talk about exactly what ended up happening. So first of all, she marches up her Ravizan Guard, the Silver Squires, the Pride of Lyonesse, as well as the Blackstone Legion, moving up as quick as they can across the battlefield, trying to close the distance so that way they can charge successfully into the next turn. So that's going to be all kinds of terrifying for me, looking at all these columns of knights coming my way. At the same time, she also did manage to get a successful charge off with the Templars of the Dawn that go directly into Mordini's Nightmare Legion. So because of these guys are now engaged in close combat, escaping the wrath of my Saints of Sartosa. However, though, as bad as it might be, though, my Saints of Sartosa are actually in a really good position in order to try to go behind and hopefully hit these columns of knights and their lance formations that cause all kinds of problems. At the same time, the Chasseurs of L'Arve managed to successfully charge against the Stase, which is my Revolt, so now that's engaged in close combat. And finally, the Realm Hussars also turn around in order to open fire with their crossbows directly into my Stratiotes, so that part is kind of rough as well. So that pretty much makes it the movement phase for the kiddo. So with the movement phase over with, we go directly to the magic phase. So now we're back with the magic phase. So first of all, my little sister the kiddo did try to have Quellcrist the Falconer cast Regrowth directly onto the Blackstone Legion. Now luckily for me though, I was able to put that spell away. I managed to burn up my Dispel Scroll to stop that spell from going away. So because of that, Gretchen von Königsmark is now without her Dispel Scroll. So because of that, she did try to cast another spell, that spell being the Mist of Shalone. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to stop that spell. So everything within 12 inches has -1 hit against them in the shooting phase. So because of that, the Pride of Lyonesse, the Blackstone Legion, the Silver Squires, as well as the Ravizan Guard, have that spell put down upon them. So with the magic phase over with, we move on to the shooting phase. So for the shooting phase, where the Realm Hussars open up with their crossbows directly into the back of my Thugs of Debarro, they do manage to kill one of my guys, so that part was kind of sad, but I do pass my panic checks, so no harm, no foul there. Meanwhile, over here, the Bowmen of Baritz open fire with their longbows into Perazzo's Lost Legion, managed to kill 6 of my pikemen, so that part was kind of rough as well. So with the shooting phase over with, we go directly to the combat phase between the Dauntless Templars and the Mordini's Nightmare Legion, as well as the Chasseurs of L'Arve against my L'Estasi. So, for the combat phase, actually ended up being a pretty interesting combat phase for the most part. So, the Chasseurs of L'Arve actually failed to do anything against L'Estasi, and my weapons crew actually was able to kill one of them, so that part was kind of nice. So, I was actually being a draw for this one because I get a rank combat res for charging, and it counts out the wound I did, so it's actually a push between those guys. Same thing over here between the Dawn Templars as well as Mordini's Nightmare Legion. They managed to kill 3 of my guys. I managed to kill 2 of theirs, but combined with their rank bonus charge as well as standard, with my rank bonuses, and my standard ended up being a push between the 2 sides, so both of the sides are still locked in close combat. So with the combat phase over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 2 for my army, the Miragliano Mercenaries. So we are back now at top of turn number 2 for my army, the Miragliano Mercenaries, and this is after the movement phase. So as you can see, I pretty much did not move around at all. Most of my main battle line stays exactly where they're located at because a standard shoot is pretty much what I can do for my army for the most part. But the major movement that did take place over here, though, on the left-hand side, I sent in the Thugs of Debarro to charge directly behind the Chasseurs of L'Arve to catch them in a pincer attack so that I can free up my War Machine. At the exact same time, I also marched with the Saints of Sartosa, moving up their max moon allowance, so that way they can stare at the back ranks of these 3 lance formation of knights that I'm going to have to deal with as well. And that pretty much makes it the move phase for this one. So the move phase over with, we go directly to the magic phase. So, for the magic phase for this turn, I do actually have a pretty successful magic phase, all things considered. I was able to cast the boosted version of Shim's Burning Gaze off directly onto the Pride of Lyonesse. Managed to kill 3 of those guys, so that part was amazing. And also managed to kill 3 of the Silver Squires by doing exactly the same thing with Hildegard von Königsmark as well. Unfortunately, the reason why I was able to get that spell off is because we were not very resistible. I rolled I believe it was an 11 for the miscast on that one, so Hildegard von Königsmark loses her 1 wizard level, so she's no longer a wizard anymore. And at the same time, I did try to cast Net of Amniok off directly onto the Blackstone Legion. I was able to get that spell off, however, though, the Hermit of Shalone, which is the level 2 wizard, managed to dispel with the Dispel Scroll, so not much really happened there. And that pretty much makes the magic phase for this one. So the magic phase over with, we go directly to the shooting phase. So for the shooting phase, the first thing I do is I activate Scab's Wrath from Ennio Mordini. Managed to kill 1 member of the Dawn Templars, so that part was excellent. I was actually able to kill 2 of them, but they passed one of their ward saves, so no harm, no foul there. So I'll take what I can get at this point. Meanwhile, for the shooting phase, I actually did pretty well, all things considered. Managed to kill and knock down the Pride of Lyonesse almost to half its size, so that part was fantastic. And I also managed to kill a couple more members of the Silver Squires from the Lucchini Rifles, which is all kind of awesome there too. At the same time, I was able to plink off a couple of members of the Ravizan Guard, so that part was even better. Unfortunately, my cannon, though, just kind of flubbed its roll. It just landed 4 inches short of actually managing to hit the Pride of Lyonesse, so that part is kind of sad. So with the shooting phase over with, we go directly to the combat phase. So now we're back for the combat phase. As you can see in this video clip right over here, I did magic kill the Chasseurs of the Larve to the last man, so that part was all kinds of epic. I did lose a crew member from my revolt at the same time, so that part was kind of sad. But with a quick swift reform, I have my thugs of Tabaro do a 180 in order to face off any threats that might be coming on the left flank. At the same time, what ended up happening over here between the fight between Mordini's Nightmare Legion as well as the Dawn Templars. In the end, I was able to kill 2 members of the Dawn Templars. They were only able to kill one of my Nightmare Legionnaires. So because that was the combined combat resolution, I won this by 4. My opponent had to take a break test, which she failed. So because she did have to flee 12 inches, which brought her directly into the Saints of Sartosa, she had to take Danish terrain tests, and Una got chopped down to pieces as they tried to ram past the Saints of Sartosa. So now my left flank is pretty much secure with only the Chasseurs of the Realm Hussars to worry about there. So with the combat phase over with, that pretty much ends the turn. So we go directly to the bottom of the turn for my little sister, the Kiddo, and the Bretonnians. So we're back now with the bottom of turn number 2, and this is after the movement phase. So the Kiddo declares several charges, as you can see on this video clip over here. So first of all, the Kiddo first declares a charge with the Barded Warhorse. Any magic course, close distance, no problem. They're only 8 inches away, so they could have easily just rolled Snake Eyes and still made the distance. So they go crashing directly into my Golden Company. Same thing with the Black Legion and the Silver Squire. So all 3 lances of Knights charge directly into my into the Golden Company. So it's gonna be a very interesting fight to see exactly what ends up happening there. Now that pretty much makes up her charge. And over here on the left-hand side, she then has the Realm Hussars also declare a charge directly into my Thugs of Tabaro. I do stand and shoot as a reaction, but unfortunately I did not get a single shot off, so that part was kind of rough there. Meanwhile, she does march over the Ravizan Guard, moving them up their maximum move allowance, trying to close the distance between them, as well as the Lucchini Rifles, as well as Perazzo's Lost Legion. And that pretty much makes it the move phase for my little sister, the Kiddo. So the move phase over with, we go directly to the magic phase. So now we're back with the magic phase, and as you can see, my little sister, the Kiddo, had a pretty successful magic phase, all things considered. So first of all, she managed to cast off Throated Vines off directly onto her Quellcrist the Falconer. Because then now she gets a bunch of buffs directly associated with her spells, and at the same time, she also casts Regrowth as well. Directly onto the Prided Lioness, bringing back 3 of those guys as well, and also bringing up her unit of Grail Knights, the Blackstone Legion, back to full health again. Now, she did, of course, try to cash off Flesh and Stone to give her Silver Squires 4 up toughness, but was able to shut that spell down, and so because of that, she's actually doing quite well for this next combat phase coming up. So with the magic phase over with, we go directly to the shooting phase. So we're back with the shooting phase. So once again, the Kiddo then activates the Bowman of Barretts. They open fire with a barrage of longbow shots directly into Perazzo's Lost Legion. Managed to kill 5 more pikemen for that unit as well, so they're getting shot to pieces, which is all kinds of bad. Now, luckily for me, though, I do pass my panic check, so because that Perazzo's Lost Legion is still standing on the ground, but those guys are getting slaughtered by some longbow fire just being fired across them from across the battlefield, so that part's pretty tough. So with the shooting phase over with, we then go directly to the combat phase. We'll be right back after this. So we are back with the combat phase. It ended up being a complete bloodbath here in the middle. Before we go any further, let's talk about what happened over here on the left-hand side. So the fight between the Realm Hussars as well as the Thugs of Bar ended up being a push. I managed to kill one of the Realm Hussars, but when combined with their charge, they were unable to do anything to me. Ended up being a draw on this one. However, the bloodbath that took place over here in the middle of the table was absolutely insane. In the end, I was able to kill, 10, 11, 12, 13 knights. Killed 3 members of the Blackstone Legion, so 3 Grail Knights. I managed to kill 6 Knights of the Realm and completely destroy the Silver Squires. So all 4 of those Knights errant are dead. On the other hand, though, they were able to kill 24 of my Golden Company as well. It was an absolute bloodbath. So, needless to say, when the combat res ended, my little sister, the Kiddo, actually got a 35 for combat res. I got 14. So, needless to say, I lost this combat by a landslide. I have to take a break test in order to escape. I don't roll Snake Eyes, so because I do have to run. So because of that, we'll be right back to talk about exactly what ended up happening after this. So we are back now with the end of the combat phase. As you can see, the Golden Company is gone. Unfortunately, I did not roll Snake Eyes for a save courage. I had to flee. When I rolled my flee roll, I rolled a perfect 12 boxcar. So just like that, the Golden Company flies off the edge of the battlefield, and they are no longer seen. Now, because of the combat phase, what ended up happening is that the Prided Lionesse was reduced down to a quarter of its size. So because of that, my little sister, the Kiddo, needed to roll Snake Eyes in order to stay for insane courage. Unfortunately, she failed to do so even with the reroll, and because Jean de Rais is the battle standard bearer, she goes and gets evaporated and dies. They flew back 9 inches. The Blackstone Legion, however, does pass its leadership test or strain, so because that, she does a combat reform to face off against the Rezo Gunners, and that pretty much makes it the combat phase for this one. So the combat phase over with, to go directly to the top of turn number 3 for my army, the Miragliano Mercenaries. We'll be right back after this. So now we're back for the top of turn number 3, and this is after the movement phase, and as you can see, some dramatic movement has taken place. First of all, I do declare a charge real quick with Peraza's Lost Legion. They go smashing directly into the Ravizan guard and engage them in close combat. And for the rest of the turns, I just pretty much maneuver most of my guys. I do swift reforms real fast for both the Renzo Gunners as well as the Lucchini Rifles, putting them in column formations, so that way they can go ahead and try to envelop this unit here in the middle. Same thing with Mordini's Lost Legion. I move them up forward in order to cause some problems there, as well as the Saints of Sartosa back over there. And at this point, that my little sister realized that she only has really 3 units left on the battlefield that can actually do much of anything at this point. So at this point, she decides to kind of call the game early, just because she doesn't even think she'll be able to pull off a victory on this one. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go directly to the after action report, because this battle report is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Sure, I could have stayed in the past. Could have even been king. But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Alright, so now it's time for the after action report. This is the part of Battle Report we talk about what went well, what went poorly, and what we can learn for the next time that we do battle. This is the after action report for the Golden Age Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report number 150, and this one ended being a victory for yours truly. In the end, I was able to score 1,891 victory points, while this kiddo scored 1,319 victory points. For the kiddo's losses, she lost Jean de Rais, the Marshal of Lyonesse, Lair the Beast, Warren the Hermit of Chalon, the Pride of Lyonesse, the Silver Squires, the Hedge Knights, the Dawn Templars, the Darting Rangers, as well as the Chasseurs of l'Arve. For me, I lost my General Condottieri Patricio El Tercio, Brunilda von Königsmark, Sheikh Shabazz, as well as the Golden Company. So with that being said, my army's current record now is at 7 wins as well as 2 losses. And to be perfectly honest, I got really lucky taking down the Questing Knights on the left-hand flank of the battle. Because I was able to take out both the the Hedge Knights as well as the Templars of the Dawn, that pretty much freed me up to concentrate all my attacks against the Lances, making up the center of the kiddo's main lines. So because I would open fire with my magic as well as my shooting, and those 3 Lances of Realm Knights, Knights of the Realm, as well as our Knights Errant was really devastating. So because I was able to whittle those guys down a little bit as well. Now the kiddos I armor save as well as reward saves really helped her out in this battle. I wasn't able to do as much as I usually do in terms of damage. Plus, she's got the Lore of Life, so she's able to bring back a couple of her guys from the dead, so that part was kind of rough. And to be honest, when those 3 Lances of Knights smashed right directly into the Golden Company, it wrecked my Paymaster's bodyguards. With the new rules that were created by the Warhammer Armies Project for Bretonnians, the Bretonnian Knights have devastating charge when they're in Lance formation, which means they get 1 additional attack. So that was absolutely brutal, because the perimeter of the Lances, those guys all have 2 attacks apiece, and when combined with their Warhorses, they just melted my Paymaster's bodyguard and killed them all. I think killed 24 guys was all said and done, with 10 up for the combat resolution as well. So that part was horrific, causing my unit to break, losing my general, as well as my Paymaster's bodyguard. Unfortunately for the kiddo, though, I have more grunts than she did, so because I was able to whittle down a lot of her late mounted choices. So killing her 2 units of Questing Knights, also killing off the Knights of the Realm as well as the Silver, as well as the Knights Errant, and only having the Grail Knights had a huge turn on this battle. Because I was able to kill those knights, a lot of the killing power the kiddo had in this army was pretty much done. Now granted, the Blackstone Legion, which is that huge unit of Grail Knights, would have been a really tough unit to destroy. It would have been, but I would have swarmed them with like 5 different units when it came time to it. I had two units of 20 handgunners. I also had my undead unit as well as my man eaters. I still had my artillery pieces, so I could shoot at those guys as well. So it would have been really rough for the kiddo, and she could have held out for a while, but she just really didn't feel like going through several turns of me just slowly whittling down her guys until eventually I killed them all. So even though this was a very tough game, this was still a lot of fun, and as always, I am looking forward to playing against the kiddo as always. So that's good for this week, guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.